Meeting Solo at a Los Angeles traffic light, Ice Cube started a fight.
Knocked him down, knocked him out, woke him back up, whooped on his ass. Somehow his chain fell in my hand. I don't know how it got in my hand, but it fell in my hand. Then all of a sudden his Rolex started jumping off and coming into my hand. I don't know how that happened.
Back in the 90s, before Shawn Fontento was widely known as the voice of Franklin from one of the best-selling video games of all time, Grand Theft Auto V, he was actually a rapper known in the streets of LA as Solo, who was said to allegedly knock out fellow rapper Ice Cube in a legendary street fight while also taking his chain in the process. Did these two really settle their differences and decide to squash their beef? Or was this the deciding factor to a treacherous relationship no one knew about? Shawn and Cube's first encounter with each other came when Shawn recognized Cube around his neighborhood and decided to go up and talk to him.
So one day, man, you know, I used to run into Ice Cube. He had a Suzuki Jeep and I had one. He had a gray one back in the days. He had Jerry curl and everything, and I ran into him. And I was like, oh shit, that's dude from NWA. What's happening, homie? And he came off so cool that we ended up getting so cool that I was on his porch with him at his mama house over there off of, I think it was the Row or something like that in 111 neighborhood.
They eventually both struck a conversation with each other and ultimately grew such a liking to each other that Shawn would often be at Ice Cube's mother's house and Cube would often play with Shawn's son on their porch.
Man, that's my boy. I'm talking about NWA days. That's my guy sitting on the front porch. He playing with my son. You know, that's my friends.
Shawn had a close friend that he grew up with named Cam, who he would often refer to as his cousin, although they weren't blood related. Shawn and Cam were both rappers and were in a rap group called Waz Up Crew. Shawn had seen that Cam had a lot of talent when it came to rapping, so he made it in his mind that he would try to get him signed.
Well, Cam is like family. We're not blood cousins, but you know how it is when you kids, man.
Right.
You grow up with somebody that's your cousin or that's your brother, so, you know, he's like family, you know what I'm saying? So we had a clique called What's Up Crew, man. It was a few of us, you know what I'm saying, that we was putting it down. We had some heavy hitters as far as, when I say heavy hitters, as far as the pocket-wise that was behind us, you know what I'm saying? And I used to always be like, man, Cam is hard, man. He was from Compton, you know, out of Carver Park Hood, and I'm from Watts, you know. And we used to link up and hang out, and he used to be spitting, so I used to always be like, man, I gotta get this dude on.
Shawn would often mention Cam to Cube about how talented he was at rapping and how he should consider signing him. Then one day, Ice Cube told Shawn that he was leaving NWA and was going to start his own label, and he wanted Cam to join.
I used to always be telling him, man, I got this dude named Cam, man. He like my cousin, he fire, man. You gotta hear him, man. And he was like, I will, Solo, you know I will. So I kept being persistent with him, sitting on his front porch, man. I used to be having my son when he was a baby. Cube used to be playing with him. We used to just be chopping it up. He used to be spitting stuff to me. Then one day he just came and said, man, I'm finna leave NWA, start my own thing, man. I'm gonna put Cam on, man. So
Ice Cube then stood on his word and was able to get Cam signed, but unknowing to Shawn, he thought that he was going to be signed as well, but that wasn't the case. Shawn even offered to be Cam's DJ, even though he didn't know anything about being a DJ.
After that, you know, he put Cam on, he stuck to his word, he started street knowledge over here off of Victoria, right off of Florence and stuff up in a little industrial area. So, you know, I used to go up there with him and stuff, and he used to be like, man, I got this deal through East West. I'm gonna put Cam on. So he did what he said, you know, he kept his word with me. And he put Cam on. Now, at that time, I thought he was putting us on, you know, he was finna give me a contract too. So I remember walking in there and I was like, man, where my contract at, nigga? You know, I was gang banging and in the streets real tough at that time, man. I was getting my money and I was with whatever anybody wanted to be with, man. I was a knucklehead, but he was like, Solo, it don't go like that. You know, they want to sign Cam. I was like, well, I'm going to be his DJ. I ain't know shit about DJing.
During this time, Cypress Hill and Ice Cube were going back and forth dissing each other because Cypress Hill claimed that Ice Cube was stealing their lyrics. This beef got big enough to where fans and rappers started to choose sides, and one of those rappers was Solo.
They dissed me at the LA Sports Arena car show, you know, with like 40,000 people there, you know. And then I did some shit in the Bronx on Rap Sheet's pay-per-view where I had his shirt crossed out with a big red X.
Fans and artists began to take sides.
The shit got pretty deep, you know. I had people from his side coming to me, you know, like, hey man, you know, it wasn't right what he did and blah, 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 and this and that. Pretty soon Cam and Solo came to me.
Cube and Shawn were also going through a business feud at the time, but the specifics of the feud are unclear. It was said that Cube and Shawn met at traffic light in LA, and according to Shawn, he knocked out Ice Cube while also taking his chain in the process. He even showed up to a Cypress Hill show at the House of Blues and started flaunting the chain around.
Meeting Solo at a Los Angeles traffic light, Ice Cube started a fight.
Knocked him down, knocked him out, woke him back up, whooped on his ass. Somehow his chain fell in my hand. I don't know how I got in my hand, but it fell in my hand. Then all of a sudden his Rolex started jumping off and coming into my hand. I don't know how that happened.
I guess Solo knocked out Cube and took his West Side Connection chain.
Solo, sporting Ice Cube's chain, showed up at a Cypress Hill show at the House of Blues in LA.
Be real, put it on and hold it all up into the crowd. Crowd go crazy. They go bananas off of it.
And we're like, well, shit, let's take pictures with it.
He even went to Cube's neighborhood and told everyone that he could have his chain back as long as he came back and fought him again, but Cube didn't agree to that deal.
When, I went to his neighborhood and told everybody in his neighborhood, bro, this true story, man, he can have his chain back. And I used to wear it all the time and didn't worry about nobody taking it from me. And I was like, he can have his chain back, bro, as long as he come back and fight me again. But Cube just was like, nah, man, we gonna let that ride, you know what I mean?
Mac 10 made a deal to Shawn that if he gave the chain back, he would give him more things in exchange. The deal took a while to come through, which made Shawn quite agitated. Eventually, Shawn got paid, and after some time, him and Cube sat down and talked out their differences and finally squashed their beef.
So I ended up getting paid. Mac 10 ended up taking care of me, making sure shit was straight. Then me and Cube ended up sitting down, man. Man to man, sitting down. He was filming the Jamie Foxx show and Players Club at the time, and he had these black eyes, because I didn't know I did him that bad because I spazzed out. And he had these big black glasses on. And I can remember us sitting in Jerry's Deli, and he was just shaking the whole table while he was sitting there with me, and I was like, dude, calm down, man. I know you, bro.
Right.
We ain't got to go through all this, man. Let's just figure some things out.
Years later, Shawn has even admitted to being wrong in the situation and would often refer to Cube as family.
It was a misunderstanding, bro. I don't like to talk about it because it's so old. I don't get it. I don't like to get into it because that's my brother, man. That's my family member, man. Let me tell you like this. It was a misunderstanding on my behalf. And now that it's over with and long over with, I understand that I did it the wrong way, and me and him talk, and like you gotta remember, man, that's my boy. I'm talking about NWA days. That's my guy sitting on the front porch. He playing with my son. That's my friend. So it was just two dudes that knew each other, and my misunderstanding came in between it because we were a certain rap group and they were West Side Connection, and it turned into some other shit, and I lost my identity as far as knowing that this man is my friend.